Alright, let's dive into this story, but I'm going to take it in a completely different direction because, honestly, there's so much here that's begging for a deeper look. Personally, I think the real magic of this journey isn't just the trail itself, but the way it forces you to confront your limits, your decisions, and the unexpected connections you make along the way. What makes this really interesting is how the author's experience isn't just about hiking, it's about the human condition, the unpredictability of life, and the way we adapt when things don't go as planned. First off, Lake Aloha. One thing that immediately stands out is how the author describes it as a place they fell in love with at first sight. But here's the thing, the day leading up to it was a mess. Weather forecasts flipping like a coin, shoulder pain, and the constant debate about whether to push forward or take a break. What many people don't realize is that these moments of uncertainty are where the real growth happens. It's not about the perfect sunset or the breathtaking views, though those are great, it's about how you navigate the chaos. In my opinion, the author's internal struggle with the weather forecast is a metaphor for life itself. You can't control everything, but you can decide how to respond. Now, let's talk about the trail angels. What this really suggests is that kindness is everywhere, but you have to be open to receiving it. The fact that Lisa, the shuttle driver, does this almost daily for PCT hikers is incredible. She's not just giving rides, she's creating a community. And then there's Keith with his 5-star trail stop, fruit, ice-cold drinks, chairs, and umbrellas. That's not just trail magic, that's humanity at its best. What I find fascinating is how these strangers become part of the journey, almost like characters in a novel, each adding a layer to the story. The reunion with Smoko and Goose Chase is another highlight. If you take a step back and think about it, these chance encounters are what make long-distance hiking so unique. You're not just walking a trail, you're weaving in and out of other people's stories. The fact that they hadn't seen each other since Kennedy Meadows North, and then randomly end up in the same car. That's the kind of serendipity that makes life interesting. It raises a deeper question: how often do we miss these moments in our daily lives because we're too focused on the destination? Now let's get into the shoulder pain. This is where the story gets really compelling. The author's internal debate about whether to stop in Truckee or keep going is something I think a lot of us can relate to. We've all been there, ignoring the warning signs because we're afraid of falling behind or letting others down. But here's the thing, the body has a way of forcing you to listen. The fact that the author eventually decides to get it checked, even though they know they won't take the recommended rest, is both frustrating and relatable. It's a reminder that sometimes we have to make compromises, even when we don't want to. The conversations with Juliet and Punisher about life outside the PCT are another layer to this story. What makes this really interesting is how the trail becomes a mirror for the rest of their lives. They're not just talking about miles and resupplies, they're talking about dreams, ambitions, and what comes next. This raises a deeper question: how often do we take the time to have these conversations in our own lives? The trail forces them to confront these questions because there's nothing else to distract them. Finally, the unexpected detour to Truckee. Personally, I think this is where the story shines. It's not just about the medical check or the gear shop, it's about the way the author adapts to the situation. The kindness of the laundry manager, the trail angel community, and even the pulled pork at Donner Pass, all of these moments add up to something bigger. What this really suggests is that sometimes the detours are where the real magic happens. It's not about staying on course, it's about being open to whatever comes your way. In the end, the author's decision to push through the pain and hike 28 miles to Sierra City is both inspiring and concerning. From my perspective, it's a testament to human resilience, but it also raises questions about when to listen to your body and when to push through. The fact that they end up in a cabin by the river, with a hot shower and a good meal, feels like a well-deserved reward. But it also makes me wonder, how long can you keep going before something gives? That's the tension that makes this story so compelling. So, what's the takeaway here? Personally, I think it's about balance. The trail teaches you that life isn't just about the destination, it's about the detours, the people you meet, and the decisions you make along the way. And maybe, just maybe, it's okay to slow down and enjoy the sunset once in a while. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.